comrades, and you are once again welcome, and thank you for coming all the way from your various constituency to this wonderful program of ours, that of the Convention People's Party. Today I'm sitting in for Senior Comrade Nana Akosua Frimpong, our former running mate for 2012 election. We are here once again to dive into the happenings in the Convention People's Party, and then also, by extension, look at what is happening in Ghana and around the world. The topics we're going to be looking at is surely the recent development in the Convention People's Party. We'd also want to take a bite on the issue or the brouhaha regarding the voters' ID by the Electoral Commission and the stakeholders, including the Convention People's Party and all the other political parties. But we would look at what our party position should be, even though the party has not taken a stand yet, but at least as it's a conversation ongoing, we would clearly know where, if it becomes necessary, where we think comments can be made clearly. Because as it is now, this same voter ID card has been used a couple of times in the various elections, and even the recent 2016 election, we use the same. And recently, I think there was an issue that the Supreme Court is challenging or asking the Electoral Commission to provide a legal basis why they think that the voter ID card we have currently cannot be used for registering people on the Electoral Commission's voters diary. So I would start with Comrade Peter Kim from Tema West. He is the former parliamentary candidate of the Convention People's Party, a very strong and a maverick CPP member. Comrade, you are welcome.
Thank you, Comrade Modric. And good evening, good day, viewers. Yeah, I would first like to talk about the EC's order, Supreme Court's order to the EC for them to provide reasons why they feel we have the legal basis to refusing the voters' ID cards. Personally, I am not happy about the stance that the EC are taking. I recall my difficulty when I was going in for my national ID card. I wasn't having a guarantor or guarantors. So I had the frustration of waiting for another time. So which means that the first time I went there, the one who is supposed to guarantee for me also needs his card to be prepared for her to get this card. So I waited for her card to go through, and that took me a couple of times before we were able to have that one done. Now, looking at the time as of now, considering the fact that we are in the election year, I find it very difficult to understand the EC, why they feel we have to do this thing at all costs. And if so, using this card as the basis for the registration. I feel if we don't take care, it might end up disenfranchising a lot of citizens. This is my concern about it. And I feel, if possible, they could maybe find a different way which will accelerate the thing very faster. Maybe this is what I have to say for now.
I think you are spot on, because if you look at the way in manner the Ghana card, the registration process started, it's actually had a lot of challenges with respect to people going and queuing. And if you look at what the number of people on the electoral, like people who are eligible to vote, as compared to what the EC is the Ghana card, the number of people who have the Ghana card. Now, majority of the people with the voter ID card are surely not having the Ghana card. And I think in the process of the registration, getting, like you said, there are impediments or hindrances, getting somebody to come and vouch for you. And the processes of the person who is going to vouch for you, what the person goes through. All these things are time consuming. And then clearly, I think your comment is a complete and a general feeling that if we are not careful and we go on that tangent, a lot of people will be disenfranchised, and that could lead to a lot of legal issues. Because somebody who has voted a couple of times with a document that has been used to elect a president, elect parliamentarians, for that particular document to be disqualified as not being one of the primary documents that will be used in compiling a new voter register, I find it very difficult to believe in. Very, very difficult to comprehend.
Yeah,
Okay,
comrade, let me also add that in saying this, I feel if there is something that they ought to do, they had, after the election, 2016, 17, 18, 19, these years were there. I rather smell rats for their attempts to change the register now. Because if they really meant to change the register, this thing should have been done a long time. And considering these frustrations, where citizens are going to, in fact, we have experienced this thing before. I think last year, when we were doing this result, just as I've explained, I suffered a lot. And even that time when we all knew very well that it wasn't election period, even within that time, we suffered difficulties. So if we are looking at election time, where we also want peace, yet we want a lot of people to register, then you are bringing in this one which you know very much, that people are going to be disenfranchised, because in the first place, this card is difficult to get. We have it. So if we are going to use this card, then I feel that the best way you should do is to get this card done, so that every citizen is guaranteed of having this one. So that before you talk about bringing this in, we already know that this card is already there. Now, I will not be out of space by saying that a lot of people would never have their voters' ID card. Where are we going with this? If really we are governing and we want peace in this country, or rather than trying to find ways and means for one party to enjoy whatever there is, I feel we should put this one down and maybe put away this new voters register and move on with what we have.
Comrade Joyce from Anyaso too. She is the current first vice, another serious and a maverick Convention People's Party's member, who, without a doubt, I know very well, we would be presenting her for our parliamentary seat for Anyaso too. Very soon she will be out there. Yes, Comrade, you are welcome, Joyce.
Thank you, Comrade Habib. And it's unfortunate that today our lady is not here. But wherever she is, I I wish her all the best, whatever she's doing over there.
Thank you.
Yeah, comrade, this EC issue is a bit worrying. But nevertheless, the question I do ask myself is that, looking at 2012, when we did the first voters ID card, we used it on 2012, then the following year till now.
Yeah.
So what exactly is the issue? I remember I spoke to one EC personnel, and he was giving an explanation that the data is lost. So if somebody get his ID card lost and he come to the office for replacement, it's difficult because those who provided the service at that time, they are no more with contract with them. So it's like the IT personnel that did the setup or whatever for them, they have terminated or they are not working with them. So based on that, they have to redo everything. Now the question comes to the resources. I think we use a lot of CDs, millions, to set up this old 2012 voters ID card. Now this is a story, we've lost we are no more with that company and that kind of thing, and services to that data is a problem. So in that case, we need to go into another company to sign on them in to give us a new card. The resources we are going to use, is it not going to cost more debt to the country, to the citizens? Now, when we look at I think some years back, there was another national identification card that was issued.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And I did mine, and they say expiring date was 2021. What happened to that? Then just recently, they say ECOWAS National Identification Authority also issued. So you can realize that government comes, government goes, and a lot of new things are coming, and to the expense of we the citizens. To the expense of we the citizens. So what is happening to that national identification card that was done? Now, newly card has been issued by National Identification Authority. Now, they are saying that they are going to use this as a basis for us to do a new voters ID card. If that is an issue, then why don't they let us use this to vote? Well, come here, are you getting it? Then why do we need this to do a new one of this? If this is going to serve us to do a new one of voters ID card, then just forget about new voters ID card and let's use the newly identification done to vote.
I mean, in Ghana here, if you talk about an ID card, a recognized ID card in this country, if you miss the voter's ID card, you don't have any ID card that we use in this country. It is the most recognized ID card. So why would we then think of actually shoving that and then sidestepping this particular document? And this same document has been used to elect president upon president, parliament upon parliament. So why, after electing president upon president, parliament upon parliament, why this time? We need to be convinced, we need to be told in clear terms why this voters ID card cannot be one of the primary documents to be used. And after all, if you're talking about doing a new voters ID card, the data is already there. You have the old voters ID card. All you have to do is to let the same people come forward, like the Comrade said. You will take this old ID card and then replace it with a new one. Now, even Comrade Nasawa was making an emphatic and a clear statement that has to do with waste of money. At whose cost? In whose interest is all these things that are happening? Who is paying for it? In whose interest? As Comrade Peter King also put it. Is there anything that is hidden that the EC, the government for that matter, needs to let Ghanaians know? I'll come back to you, Comrade Peter King. I'll come back to you on that.
Yeah. You see, I have been saying this thing.
Because you said you smell it right. a rat. So if you smell a rat, maybe there's a clear reason why you smell a rat, because for me, I also find it very difficult to understand why this same document has been
I
used
smell rat
upon election, and still
we
we are.
have 2016. In fact, the EC, when we talk about the intensive work of EC, it is during election period. So it means that after election, their intensive work is completely reduced. Which means that this period before the next election is the time when they have to do any adjustment, any planning whatsoever, which will never interrupt election or cause any trouble for election. Now, if we have sat all these years, 2016, 17, 18, 19, we are now in 20, and in 20, where we have lots of problems, it is this time that EC feels they have to bring in changing of register. Now, if I look at this one, the old one we were saying, we were using the black and white. When it came to the point where we have to change it, we sent it and it was perforated. In fact, the perforation shows that you have used it and that was the end. It was able to kind of identify whoever there is. Now this one, there is data, complete data on it, which means that everything is set and you can use it even if you say it is bloated. I'm very sure that by the machinery that they have over there, they can still use it to check whatever they have to check. So they have been, these are the voters' ID cards. We have changed them several times and now we are having ECOWAS. My question is, who is benefiting?
National ID card that has been changed a couple of times.
A couple of times. So I'm asking that, why this continuous changing? I smell right, that's why I'm a bit worried. Because I feel something is going on. I feel either they are using this thing to amass some kind of wealth, or whatever you can think. And even in this election time, that they are going to use this ECOWAS card. And with this ECOWAS card, surely I will not be telling any lies by saying that lots of people have not received this card. And this time, where there are a lot of difficulties we are facing now, you are saying you are going to use this, which means that a lot of people will not be able to access this thing, meaning that they will not also be able to get their voters' ID card. We are entering into election period. So when they don't receive these cards, what is going to be done to these people? I smell rats.
Wonderful. I want to give you at least 2 to 3 minutes each to link this particular situation we have today to the COVID-19 pandemic. We are in a pandemic period where we are supposed to be going to the polls to elect our president and then the legislature and parliamentary candidates to steer the affairs of this country for the next 4 years again. Unfortunately, on our part, a very big world superpower has landed on all of us globally. A superpower, I call it a superpower because it is a superpower that has actually brought the superpowers on their knees. The coronavirus has brought the superpowers on their knees. So, and there's no any superpower than the coronavirus. How do you link this election brouhaha with the new voters ID card? How do we position ourselves for the election 2020 in this pandemic period?
It's a very worrying situation, looking at the pandemic, looking at the election year, and almighty EC also is bringing another year. It's a very serious issue, but nevertheless, my issue now on the EC is that, as my other comment was saying, every 4 years that you have a very intensive, massive job to do. So if you know there's a problem with the old voters ID card, why couldn't you adjust differences in those? Now this is the situation we have: social distancing, sanitizers, and all. I mean, all the precautions is out there. Now, if it is our suggestion, if something can be done about this, then there's no need to do a new voters ID card that people will be crowded to go and do. We maintain the old, then those who have lost theirs rather should come and do it, which is a very minimal number, because majority have it. It's a few people who have lost their ID cards. And looking at the situation that we have, the election year is a very serious year. Now it means everything is going to be online. When you go to the outside, nations or countries that are very far advanced in IT, they vote even online. They don't even have that, because they vote online, everything is done online, and there is strict things online. Now, Africans, Ghanaians, are you going to adapt that strategy? And is it going to be a fairness? That is the issue. Fairness. If Fili Gadochi is not there, it's going to be a fairness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, but again, your take on this issue, the pandemic and our election timelines, from few months to December for us to go to the polls.
Yes.
What exactly is your take on
My,
this issue?
I am a bit worried.
Absolutely.
I am also somehow relaxed because of the fact that our election is on 7th December. Which means that if we should put things right, if we should keep the necessary protocols set up for the distance, whatever it's called, we may be able to avoid lots of infections. Which means that come December, knowing what we are when it comes to elections, definitely they are going to be clouded. People are going to be clouded at the polling stations, which means if we should put things right, then by that time we would have been able to master our distance, what is the name? Social distance enough for us to be able to undertake that exercise. But my worry here is taking into consideration the churches and mosques, one, and then these new voters registration that they are going to do. Sometimes I used to say markets, in fact, we have not been able to manage our market situation very well.
Excuse me to chip in here. I mean, you just give my attention to something that is very, very important in respect to the spread of the disease.
Yeah.
We're talking about a lot of local infections, and then just oppose that argument with what the president just gave, the president's directive on the number of people that can be congregated at a time, number of people that can meet at a time, between maximum not more than 100. And then
the maximum hour of 1 hour.
And maximum an hour of one to worship and to do. How do we cope up with that? Assuming we're going to do voters new voters ID card, and then also that we are in the political season. A lot of parties are yet to go for their congresses, parliamentary, the presidential, and all those things. How are we going to manage this?
You see,
how are we going to manage that?
already here we are talking about. Look at what you have said. 100 people at the religious sectors. We have 100, not more than 100.
But if you go to the market, what goes on in the market?
It's too bad.
How do you determine that number?
Now we are talking about churches, giving them not more than 100. And now you are also telling them that they must close at exactly one hour, within an hour. Then the worst of all. In fact, I analyzed this situation and I was like, whoa, you are telling churches that
very interesting.
Before you go to church register your name so that you can be
traced.
What about the markets?
Absolutely.
So you are telling me that if I should go to church this Sunday,
These are some of the inconsistencies.
I will have to be registered to be contract traced. So are you saying that for this week, this Sunday, if I should go to church and my name is written, I should wait for the next 2 weeks before I go to church? You see, it doesn't wash.
But you the same person can go to church, register your details, your phone number for the purpose of contact tracing.
Yes.
Now this same person can go to the market.
And it's free.
Yes.
So that's why I'm saying that.
Go to the market when you are not registering yourself.
The point I'm raising here.
But some of the churches have decided not to meet.
Of course. In fact, the bottom line is that
so many churches didn't open.
Yeah.
The meeting is useless.
Some of the
It's
churches
useless. Because if you are telling them that, in fact, do you know what is going to happen? If they should continue with this one, people who might be infected somewhere will be traced in the church, and it will bring a lot of
this is a clear controversial direction.
So my take is that this thing, I have told the churches, some of the churches, I have told them point blank, don't go, because this will not help you.
Yes, Nana Sawa, I keep on referring to
but I prefer the Ghanaian.
Nana Sawa, absolutely, I like that. I mean, it is about time, and that is the one of the principles of the Convention People's Party is to believe in our own self.
Yeah.
It is our ability to be self-reliant, our ability to believe in ourselves is one of the cardinal pillars of the Convention People's Party. And we always remind ourselves as comrades, in the spirit of comradeship, that we keep that at the back of our mind. The African continent is a continent that don't need to. Actually, it is unfortunate that we have the blocks, but we are one people. And for that matter, the black personality, it starts from our names and all those things. Anyway, I just wanted to give us a final take on this issue that has to do with the coronavirus and the election year or the brouhaha and this stuff.
Yeah, my final words to the government, it's not easy though, we have to admit it. Taking or being in charge of a nation or a country with such circumstances, it's not easy. And he is giving the advice, you as a person, as a Ghanaian, do your part and take your precautions, because the disease is real. It's real, and you don't want to lose anybody. Probably you might be a CPP member who can put us in power. So try and put yourself wherever you are. But you know, the government might do things to help, because at the end of the day, it also belongs to a particular political party. And in as much as we all want to have our meetings, our congress, they also are going to have their meetings and their congress. So, and the directives goes to anybody and everybody. Wherever you are, just take care of yourself. But we also plead on government, if there will be a way of we can use more digital, more online, more digital way of doing things. I think it also might help, because now, you know, going to
You're talking about innovation and then taking advantage of technology, like we have Zoom now.
Zoom,
yeah,
is it?
That's
So
great.
there will be a way, the ITs, there will be a new technologies, innovations, as my brother is saying. It will help.
Now it calls for thinking outside the box.
That is it. Than wasting resources and money of printing card. So we did an iCard 2012, a new voters ID card was changed. Now 2020, we want to do a new voters ID card within a period of 3 times. 3 voters ID cards. It's being done now. It's all resources, it's all money. And I believe it's not going to be a small money. When you see the EC's budget to do it, it's not an easy money.
Wonderful. Comrades, I would like to chip in here and then to say that we need to also move to the next topic on our next agenda that we have here, is to also consider and look into what is happening in Bamaya Party, the Convention People's Party. With respect to the court case, and then also how best we think the party can actually scale or move out from this unfortunate situation, because it is a constitutional issue that was taken to the court. We also want to make sure that we go by our party calendar, which we've missed already, or we are in the process of missing. But we would want to touch on a bit of that, because on the 5th they were in court.
Yeah.
So a bit of commentary on that, and we move to the next topic. But before that, we still have to acknowledge and appreciate our sponsors, Area Care, hand sanitizers, and then Area Care has various products. We have hand sanitizers, we have other related detergents and things that you can use to protect yourself against the COVID-19. So if you are out there, always look for the Area Care hand sanitizers, which is actually 70% alcohol based. And then take good care of yourself and make sure that your hand washing protocol is maintained and you are persistent on that. Now, Comrade Peter Kennah, I will come back to you to take us through what is actually happening. The party, the protagonists in this particular case were in court yesterday, and we are also hearing that the Council of Elders were there in their bid or attempt to get a case out of court for in-house settlement.
CPP court case and our way forward. The update I had yesterday was that the case was withdrawn partially by members of the Council of Elders, and they were given 2 weeks to go and talk about this issue in-house. So
you are saying that, meaning that a period was given.
A period was given. That is 2 weeks
for them to consider settling it in-house.
Yes.
And for that matter, and for that matter, that period too is to give them that window period. Exactly. If they are not successful, meaning that they are going back to court. What does it mean?
Well, the fact is that on the 19th they have to report in court.
Okay.
I asked further as to
a window.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was trying to find out further as to what agreements they came about before they were withdrawing this in court. But it was like the two.
Who are the two?
Those who have been injuncted.
Okay.
The chairman, the national chairman, the acting chair, and then the acting general secretary. It looks as if they don't agree to the fact that they must sit down and then so that we move forward. But it all will be decided over there.
Yeah, but actually, just let me interject. I think it is always proper that for you to get into a bottom of an issue, when you are being cited in a wrongdoing or cited in a situation, I don't think you should be occupying the same position whilst investigation is going on. Is that proper?
Yeah, you see,
occupying the same position whilst investigation is going on. Yes, most especially when the case is being taken and a consideration is being given that it should be tackled in-house. Would you still be in the position when you are a major protagonist in the case? Would you have to still be?
In actual fact, the honest thing is for them to really set aside, so that the case is really. If you feel you are genuine, you are not you are being accused wrongly. The best way is to allow courts or whatever it is they are going to settle it out. Allow it. But what we are saying is that the party must move on. And if by this, you who have been injuncted is trying to even impede the party from moving further, then you will know that something is not going on well there. We are only hoping that as they said CC will be meeting before the 19th, and we are hoping that by that time they will be able to come into a perfect consensus and then appoint whoever they have to appoint as a leader, so that if some kind of interim management will go on, we will see how best it will flow.
All right, Comrade Dalasewa, I will come back to you on this. What is your take on this? What is certainly your take on this issue? The happenings in the Convention People's Party today. We are supposed to be going to Congress to elect our national leaders. We are supposed to be organizing from the grassroots. Even though, in as much as the party itself is not in court, but just a nominal defendant in the case that is ongoing, it seems that enough attention is shifted from those who are supposed to be working the party, but focusing on the case where the various protagonists are supposed to see eye to eye. But I think the case in court that has to do with the chairman of the Legal Affairs Committee, who actually took these two people to court, is defending the party's constitution. What do you have to say when the consideration is now being given that the processes should be taken out of court and then settled in-house?
Yeah.
What is your take on that?
Well, as a concerned member of the Convention People's Party, we all want the betterment for the party. And if the Council of Elders and the legal team are trying to bring the issue out of court to settle it in-house, it's a good idea, but my own concern is that if only the victims or the two defendants, which is acting chairman, acting secretary, are going to get the understanding and set aside to have peace, it is good. Nevertheless, if I spoke to one of the councils and they are saying that the case is not totally out of court, but the court is saying that they should go talk things over and come back in 2 weeks' time. That's good. And if 2 weeks' time they're able to settle things that the two people involved will understand themselves. Now, what generates the court is that there are mishandling of the constitutions.
Yeah.
If things are not done rightly in the constitutions, that is a mistake. If you are a leader and you don't listen to people, you also cause chaos in the organization.
Sure.
And now, Convention People's Party, we are struggling a lot. You know, our things are not properly organized.
Yeah.
All the organs of the party is not well structured well. Talking from the polling station to the electoral area, to the constituencies, to the regional and to the national. And these are the ages, years, that this party is not doing things according to our constitution. And because the leadership, when we talk about the leadership, it's not only the chairman, it's not only the secretary. I mean, when we go through the constitution, there are a lot of people that make the leadership national. There are a lot of people that make it. Where are all they? 6 years. Where are all they? And now it's like, because every organ or the organs of the party are sleeping, it's like the two people or any person who seems self or himself working, he takes the part upon his shoulders and do things on his own. Because other organs are not functioning. And that is where the problem
I would suggest by saying that clearly what you are saying now is that the violation or the infractions that were caused by these two, the acting general secretary, James Conrad Pomfret, and the acting leader and chair, Ajay Hamdatu Ibrahim Haruna. You see, there were letters and there were advice from the Legal Affairs Committee. And clearly, if you are seeking a mandate to rule, and that mandate begins from your internal party structures, and from the word go, you start to become an indisciplined or recalcitrant leader or leadership, how would you then lead a nation if those disciplines are not built up from the party structures? Then if you take up the national position, what will happen? I would want you to say, I just give you 1 minute on this.
The only thing I can say is leadership. You are supposed to mentor, you are supposed to encourage, and you are supposed to supervise.
Absolutely.
When you manage these qualities well, you will realize that things will be moving smoothly. Now, there again, being a leader, you are supposed to listen to all sides and take constructive decisions, so that it will rather promote whatever program you are doing rather than bringing us down. Why should we be in court in the first place? When we have parties have structures. But it's unfortunate that we are in court and we have to go into court, because when it comes to the party, it has given us ways and means of addressing our issues. We have done this in several times. Since which year? Considering 2017, when we started pushing in letters, sending them to all the necessary bodies that is supposed to be, and none, they could do nothing about our grievances. So if we have been in court, it means that the leaders are simply not doing right. And if they are not doing right with a political party, then the best for them to do is to listen. Otherwise, I'm afraid how they are even going to manage a nation. Simply put, they haven't done well at all.
Thank you very much. I would want to once again acknowledge our sponsors, Area Care Hand Sanitizer. You can get Area Care products. You can get Area Care products. The head office is located at East Legon, near the American House. We share wall with First Atlantic and Ghana Consolidated Bank on the Boundary Road. On the Boundary Road, you have right in front of the office is the Banana Link. Right in front of the boundary, but at the office of the Boundary Road is the Banana Link. So, and you can get these hand sanitizers in some pharmacies, the markets across, and then we are also doing wholesale. You can also call the numbers you find on the hand sanitizers, come to the office, and then buy in bulk. Thank you, Comrade Namasewa. I come back to you now, also for 1 minute to throw a little bit more light. Why we can't maintain discipline within the Convention People's Party and our quest to lead this nation.
Yeah, that is what I was trying to throw light on that. Why we can't be disciplined is that since the power takeover from the Convention People's Party, our party suffered from the coup d'etat.
Yeah.
Then 2000,
1966,
then in the year 2000, it's like we came back into.
We're also banned for so many years.
That is it. And those who came in as leadership and who ran the party from now were a bit, I don't know whether they relaxed or whether they have their own agenda. You can realize that the structures were not implemented very well.
Absolutely.
Down to the polling station, to the app wasn't much respected or much implemented. So it's like the few person, the chairman, the whatever, anybody who got the opportunity use it for his own means, his own links, his own agenda. Whether the party comes to power or not, let me just handle it. And these are some of the causes that has trained till now. So it's like if I'm a chairperson now and I have seen the previous predecessors who have done, and you will want to dictate to me, I don't want to listen to you, because that's what I've seen. I don't work with that. I think that once I'm a chairman, I'm a chairperson, I have to do by what I have to do. And this is what is affecting the party. And if you don't, a leader who doesn't work with subordinates, who doesn't listen, it is difficult we can come to power. Because if you don't clean your house well, how do you go and clean the whole Ghana?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is the issue.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a very good
So
point there.
what I would say to our party is that if we are elected into the office of the national executives and you work together, listen to yourself. Of course, you can't flow with everybody.
Yeah.
But for the sake of the party, whether you flow with the person or not, the person's ideas, if it is good, take it.
Absolutely.
It is going to help the party to go for tickets.
Yes, because the name of the game is called numbers. Actually, politics is about numbers.
That is it.
You go to election, we elect our president and parliamentarians based on numbers. So
Sure.
you can disagree with the person,
That's all.
but bear in mind that there's one common
Agenda.
factor that is holding you together is the party, and you need people, and by so doing, you need the numbers
Yeah.
to get to.
Are we saying
Absolutely.
that other political parties are not fighting?
They-
Just about yesterday or two, I was watching the news from one of the TV stations, either UTV. You know, NPPs are cursing themselves with things. The executives were cursing, the aspirants were cursing, which means there's also problem there. But when they come to pushing the party forward, they come together.
Yeah, there's always a common ground for that purpose.
Yeah.
There's always a common ground.
What I would try to see PP as a whole, no matter the differences you might have with a community, just let the party be the main subject in the front. Because some of the issues that is keeping them backwards is that because you are not good with Comrade Habib, and Comrade Habib is good with me, then it means that even if the position I can perform, you will not give it to me. Because you see me, I am nice with Comrade Habib, and you are not nice with Comrade Habib. So you not give the position to me because you know maybe my capability, I can perform. They go and give it to Peter King because you are not with Peter King. Meanwhile, maybe Peter King cannot perform that duty. So that is an general example. So the party keeps sinking. It keeps sinking. Our nationals are not performing. It keeps sinking. We are fighting within ourselves. I mean, these are some of the things that is sinking our party. What is happening? Samia is not happy with that because internal Congress is like a fight, like a war, like a tug of war.
So when they don't get what they want, they walk away.
They walk away. Which
Anyway, thank you very much, Comrade Nana Sewa. We are now moving on our final leg of the discussion, which has to do with.
But before we move on,
Yeah.
I beg your pardon. What I want to say to our leaders is now that we CPP have been fortunate enough to have had this case partially removed from court, they should all be humble to reasoning, to reason, and to know that it is the party, the success of the party that we are looking for. So what will bring the party to its better situation is what they must take.
Absolutely.
The situation where somebody will feel like I will not should completely be discouraged.
Absolutely.
So that as they go and sit down, we want to move on. We are in the election year. So they must not do anything that should send us back to court for this sort of
I like the Clarence call and I agree with you perfectly. I mean, perfectly agree with you because in finding in disputes, in managing dispute or finding solution to challenges like this type, concessions have to be made. People or parties or protagonists definitely have to make some concessions. And those concessions are what those mediators will have to look at. And the interest of those concessions should not rest on the individuals who are giving those concessions, but the common or the collective interest which happens to be the Convention People's Party. Whatever we looked at or we are looking at in doing, as far as the attempt has been triggered to get the case out of court to settle in-house, it has to be done with certain conditions being met. If not so, then why going to court in the first place? Or are we saying that if we gloss over it, it will not happen again? And we must take responsibility where there's the need for punishing others for going wrong. We should do it because we are actually telling Ghanaians that Ghanaians are tired of NDC and NPP. And if they have to look up to us, then they must look up to us with some credibility. They must look up to us to say that yes, our forefathers, the founders of this nation, the great founder of this country, worked with great men of the Convention People's Party. The Convention People's Party, under the leadership of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, did a lot for this country. In actual fact, you are not far from being true to say Convention People's Party is Ghana, Ghana is Convention People's Party. Thank you very much. Now we move to our final leg of the discussion, which has to do with what is happening globally and the black man's position. I will start with you, Comrade Peter King, by making reference to what happened in the United States and what happens in Ghana when some of our brothers were actually, whether it is by mistake, were gunned down in Kumasi. We also have a case recently during the restriction period where a brother was also killed in Asham. We also have a case of Ahmed Swala, who was also killed some few years back. And all these things are still hanging. But human beings as we are, and when the people in the United States, the way they understand politics and the way they understand the global politics is totally different from what we see here.
Comrade,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Africans, sometimes when I look at the way we behave, it's so much, I see that with so much face, that the African that we are, unfortunately, we don't regard ourselves so much. And like we have paved way for others to maltreat us. It's like we are rather showing them the way of how to deal with us. Mentioning this, recalling these names you've mentioned, these killings that you've mentioned, most of the times in discussions, panel members and discussants have been saying that Ghana, we have the beauty of laws, but we don't practice them at all. I recall a situation in Tema post office where a white man had to spit into a bucket for somebody to drink.
Wow.
And we are looking on.
Wow.
Lot of things, in fact.
In our own soil.
Today in Takoradi, what is happening in Takoradi is very dirty. White, we have our rules in our country here that we must obey, how we have to deal with others, how they are not supposed to be doing retailing and the rest. But our same leaders, you see, the whites are looking at the way we treat our people, and they are giving us the same in return. I'm sorry, we must be open doing. When the laws are there, we must act upon the laws. Takoradi, I heard a lot of story about Takoradi, where some of those whites even wield guns in their pockets.
Wow.
And they maltreat the people. You see, if you reduce our people to zero, where they become beggars for their daily needs, then they give it all to the whites.
Yeah.
our laws must be effective in such a way that wrong must be called wrong and right must be right. Our laws must work. In fact, most of the times when we talk about people, foreigners coming into the country, especially when we talk about trading, retailing, I don't agree at all with the way government is treating our people. No. And I think CPP will deal with this thing. We can never allow our people to go hungry for other people to come and take the little that they can do from them. This is the reason why the whites are treating us the way they are treating us. And look at what's happening in China. When you infected us, you are rather turning up and killing us. And we are so generous and we are keeping them. We receive them. At the end, we do all manner of things. Look, when this thing will stop, it will begin from our country. Until we value our people and know that we must cherish every person. When something happens to anybody outside, we must come with one voice and say, we would not accept that.
Sure.
And if we have to hold bilateral meetings or whatever to talk to our foreign people that treat us well because we are human, and we will disagree for the way you treat us, I think something will be done over there. Let's come to George Floyd. His killing is very painful. He is one out of many. That is the reason why it has become necessary for the Americans to go on this rampage. I will even say that it is even too late.
Yeah.
Too far too late. It is happening there because black has been killed. We should not allow the blood or the soul of a black man to be wasted before we take action. That one, I say no. Internationally, we as an African, that's why Kwame Nkrumah came up with Africans must be united. United because they say in unity there is strength. One person will be talking and there will be nothing that will be coming out of it. I was having a discussion with a friend from the Voltarian side. When they are eager, they say, we are eager to do it. And I say, look at something carefully. Because even in the Volta region, they are still divided.
Yes.
So you go and say, oh, after all, what is it? Ghana will say, we are giving this thing to you, go away and handle it. But you will not have peace. We have used this sort of Vanity Fair and I want this, I want that, greed to divide us for far too long. If we continue in this tangent, the white man is looking at our weak points and they are finding ways because they have also realized that we are enemies of ourselves. Because of that, they are also tackling and doing the way they can. What my last point is that our brother who they have so much killed, like killing the goats, we Africans are not happy about it. We are behind every black solidarity against this evil. And I'm reading that this evil must stop. Our leaders are the most to be looked at. They must feel for us rather than looking to benefit their pockets. Because they are there to see to it that the black is free and not to align with others to subvert our country. Thank you.
All right, Comrade Nanasewa, I want you to give us your final word on what is happening globally and link that to our local issues. Like I said, we have some brothers who were killed in Kumasi recently during the lockdown. Another brother was killed in Shiama. We have our late brother. All of them, their soul rests in perfect peace. Ahmed Saleh, who was also killed. And the investigation, as we speak, we don't know where things are and families are so big.
Yeah, thank you, comrade. And at times I do ask ourselves that why do we make diplomatic relationships, Africa as a whole? You know, most of these foreign countries have their embassies in most of our African countries. And so when things are happening, especially the China issue, I was asking, so the ambassador of China is in Ghana. The same as other African countries, Nigeria and blah, blah, blah. And they are killing the Africans over there. So why do we make the diplomatic relations, friendships? What is happening? Is it because of their loans we have been taken from them? So we are like slaves to them or what? If there is nothing good in Africa, will they still follow us? Our gold has been taken over from them, our diamonds, our bauxites. When you go to our...
In actual fact, they take more than they give. And whatever they take, it is the surplus that they give us. They don't give us anything anyway. If you go to the various embassies in Ghana, if not for the sake of COVID-19, the amount of money they make on daily basis for taking visa fees alone,
non-refundable.
It's huge.
Non-refundable.
That amount of money to Ghana in a year is so huge.
Non-refundable.
And you compare to what they give to us as loans of that, and some of these loans are suffocating our economies, killing the very economy that we want to grow.
It is very serious.
So I definitely like your position for the fact that what is the use of our diplomatic relationship with this country?
And they are killing us, and they are disturbing us, and they are just disgracing us. American embassy, for instance, as we were saying, a lot of people that have applied visa, it's not an easy thing. And a lot of them are being refused. Well, so what exactly Africans, why are we selling out? Ghana, when we go to the Newmont, has been there for years. How many percentage do we have? Our grounds, gold, is being generated from the motherland of Ghana. And we are there talking, laughing with them because of what? Their dollars they were giving to us. We can generate a lot. Recently, one of the African countries, Zambia also, Chinese were almost taking over their military.
I think it's
Zambia or whatever. Zambia. What is happening to we Africa? We have a lot of potentials. Our president, our governors, our authorities, what are they doing? Look at what is happening in America in favor of George Floyd, who died recently. You know, now
that he was killed.
He was killed. A very pathetic death. Pathetic death. Just we all can read the news, we all can see the news, what is happening over there. The blacks are coming together, rising up. Seriously. What is happening to we as leaders, you as a government of a particular country, what are they saying on behalf of Africans? Yeah. Because remember, if it is happening to one African, it can come to two African and they will take over. Now, when you come to local, people are military people or the personnel or security personnel just kill people anyhow. Recently, I witnessed a brother of mine. I think there is an issue out there that the one fetish priest killed people or whatever. And it's like somebody mistakenly pointed him as one of the suspects. Now, when they go to the house, the person, when somebody is a suspect of a killer, when you look, you see the issues. How is it the way they are just, the personnel are being shooting there again? One issue, all over beating him. Now they apologize to him that it was a wrong whatever signal they did. Look at this. So our security personnel, at times we don't understand the way they are being trained. At times, some of them we don't understand.
Interesting.
Keep killing people, and when the person is there, is dead. So we are trying to use this media to speak to the authorities, to speak to the security personnel. Whatever the situation the person might find himself doing, take it easy. Don't just shoot the person. Life is very precious. Now, George Floyd is dead. His families are going to suffer.
Absolutely.
And when we don't talk, tomorrow it will be next person. Tomorrow it will be next, because it has been continuous for some time.
Yeah.
And African leaders need to be one and condemn that out. And speak to personnel. Security personnel also have to be trained very well. Absolutely. Because they have been shooting anyhow. And it's
Absolutely.
causing a lot of.
Yeah, thank you very much for this wonderful comments. Thank you very much for this wonderful comment. But you see, because there are excesses in all these things, that is why there should be an oversight responsibility. We have the institution or a whole ministry like Ministry of Interior. What happens there? What goes on between our Ministry of Interior, the police, the army, and all those things? And I know they have a lot of in-service training going on as personnel. But it is about time some of these cases on their desk. It's about time we get some kind of feedback, we get some kind of result, because the families of these people who unfortunately are not today with us, people are taking responsibility of their children. They were breadwinners of their family.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know what has happened. We cannot hear anything as far as this Kumasi case, for instance. It's so sad, so sad. Ameswala, the gentleman was killed in Ashama, and all those. We have so many of these excesses going on. At what point do we say enough is enough, Peter King?
Conway, this lots of
This is
these.
your final word on this. I'm giving you 1 minute for that.
Most of these killings you've mentioned have political undertones, and it's unfortunate that the way we handle political cases are like, I don't care. When it is not of my party, it can get to hell. I don't care. And this is where we are fortunate with democratic governance, that other parties must come so that gradually the system must be refined. In fact, we have been that too adamant when it comes to the way the security system is being operated. Some time ago, I was having a discussion with one of these people, and when we thought things have been streamlined, what they only said was a little has been done, nothing so much has been done as compared to those days. What the British left us is still what we are using, and it is not that much of a refine. When we talk about even how do you call it, in-service training, it's not much, which means that there is more that needs to be done with this our security, so that they must be more human-centered. I was once watching a video on this WhatsApp concerning, Americans most of the times they do. A child can even report the parents, and then they will come to arrest the parents too. And this is this reasonable policeman who came, listened to whatever the child was saying, and realizes that this is not right. And then he put the child to his proper place.
I've watched that video.
Yes, it also happened recently in this our COVID-19 case, where this policeman happened to speak nicely to a driver who was misbehaving. What I want to drive out here is our police must be more of educationing the society centered, so that it shouldn't be like professionalism, not be like this buga where I have the power, I have the authority, so I'll do what I like. Look, I was at this is purely before me. Lashibi, there was a place called On the Run. The only difference was that I got to the scene when that ammunition has been given already. So I did not. Then it was who gave the ammunition? A policeman giving ammunition to a civilian to go and do operation.
Wow.
You see? And this has been going on. The fact that we don't see is, I did not see that thing happening directly, but the people were reporting it. I have been the same person who has reported a case of this Nigerian guy's misbehavior.
Yeah.
This their 419 issue.
Yeah.
Our police station, nothing happened to the people. So we are saying that police must sit up. Mm-hmm. They must be up and doing. They must do their work with professionalism so that when anything happens, we will be assured that when it goes to police station, it becomes a police issue. It will be handled well. But if it is handled haphazardly, it will rather end up bringing chaos and untrust into the system. That is why we are suffering.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much for coming, and we would like to take this opportunity. Maybe I would have to give Nana Sewa a minute to also wrap up before I give my closing remarks on this issue.
Well, we are just using this medium to plead on security personnel. But when it comes to issues to deal with citizens, they should please practice professionalism.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because the shooting, if you shoot somebody and he's dead, the person is gone.
That's right.
Coming back is not again. So we are using this medium to speak to the authorities as well, and more especially our foreign contacts or foreign ministers or whatever, to use their diplomatic relationship to intervene on our behalf, our friends and family that travel out there. Because if you travel and you are facing challenges with this right, it's not an easy thing. When you are not home, it's not an easy thing. So we please plead on them to use their friendships to intervene on our brothers and sisters who are traveling out there. Because life is precious. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming, Corey Peter King and Nana Sewa, for coming all the way from Ashina School. Peter King coming all the way from Tema West. I mean, it's all part of party work. These are some of the commitments we talk about. You could be sitting down in your house having some nice food and a bank line, but you sacrifice that time and take the risk to come all the way to the office here. We also have to thank Senior Comrade Nana Femboma, who was our running mate. In fact, her selfless dedication and the level of commitment to the Convention People's Party cannot be overemphasized. She is available 24/7, and she has shown that clearly and real. She's ready to lead this party. She's ready to lead this party not by word of mouth, but purely by her actions, her deeds, her motherly love, her commitment, selfless dedication for this party, and then the ability to organize, the acumen of her business acumen, how to help the initiatives that she's bringing on board to make sure that we, the Convention People's Party, can stand on our feet and move this party forward. We also want to appeal to the general public, the masses. Wherever you are, you try as much as possible, look for the Convention People's Party. And when you say, I want to say this because it is something that we'll be hearing a lot. If anybody says that I am going to cast my vote, and if I'm casting my vote for Convention People's Party, I'm wasting my vote, it is not true. Because you have not given us the opportunity to rule this country after we were overthrown in 24 February 1966. We are still struggling very hard to get our feet. And you've been casting your vote for the NDC, the MPP. And that is why your vote has been wasted. You have been wasting your vote. You are clearly wasting your votes on NDC and MPP because for the reason which you cast your votes for them, for how many years now, you've not gotten that report. You've not gotten that achievement. You've not gotten that result. So you can only claim by casting your votes in a wasteful manner. When you waste your vote for NDC, you waste your vote for MPP, like you've been wasting them for so many years now. Vote for CPP, and that is where your vote will be counted. If you vote for the CPP, your vote will be counted because you've never voted for us for so many years. So wasting your vote can only be referred to casting vote for NDC and MPP where you don't get the results. That is where you waste your vote. And if you say you want the men, the Convention People Party recognize you out there as the people, the men and women who will run this country, because we said we believe in ourselves and we said the black man is capable of managing his own affairs. Like our great leader said, the leader of the Convention People's Party who took this country to the global level by taking this country, granting our political independence. The CPP has done it, and we've done it so many years. We've done it so many years ago, and we are still going to do it, because it is not about the demise of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. The Convention People's Party is still alive. Our document, we have the best ideological clarity. The NDC have no political lexicon. The MPP has no political lexicon. The Convention People's Party is the only political party with the ideological clarity in this country. We have our 7-year development plan. Those development plans are still relevant as today. They are still time tested. We did the Temamutu Way, we did Akosogo Dam, we have so many factories in this country, the jute factory in Kumasi, the Bolgatanga meat factory. We did so many things. Where are the factories today? So if you want all these things to come back, look out for the Convention People's Party in your constituency. Nana Sawa is coming, and she's coming live in Anya's room. She will contest the seat. Comrade Peter King is coming back again for Tema West. He will contest the seat. Look for these people. I won't be contesting for the Medina seat. Wow. You look out for me, you see me. I won't be coming for the Medina seat. I will contest and contest like any other party are going to do. So we thank you for having your time, and then we also once again want to thank our proud sponsors, Area Care hand sanitizers, and we have various products. Area Care is doing so much. We have food items that Area Care is coming out with, but currently we want to focus on the hand sanitizers, alcohol-based hand sanitizers, and other spray that we will use to fight this COVID. So please, wherever you are, look out for Area Care products, and you will not be wrong for using this product. We also thank our senior comrade who, for some reason, she is being occupied, and I have to sit in here for her today as a moderator. Once again, my name is Comrade Yakubu Habibu from Medina constituency. Thank you very much for having time with us. Come on your way next week, the same time, Saturday. Thank you.